site plan. This is the final plat that we're talking about tonight. It's kind of hard to read.
No, I can't make it. So they are gonna do that.
Well, they're still waiting on the test out. And that doesn't have anything to do with the plat on the property.
Right.
That's more than a civil portion of it.
All right, I'd like to open the session of the Keene Planning and Zoning Commission with a call to quorum. Or
Chris Rose here. Eduardo Perez Sr.
Here.
Miguel Espinoza, absent. Dan also. Here. Present. And Gilbert Perez is absent. Philip Jackson, the chairman.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, then. If y'all would, please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Father God, we ask your presence on the deliberations we make here concerning the future effects on the city of Keene through our actions. We definitely invite your presence to be among us as we go about the deliberation of this business. This we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll reserve any remarks I might have for later if, Don, if you'd like to get us started.
I'd like to welcome everybody and apologize for getting everything kind of late, but we're going to be trying to restructure part of our administrative staff, which would be me, basically, to where I'll be. My new title, I think, is going to be Director of Neighborhood Development and about 15 other things. So they're going to try to look for an economic development director to handle just the A board, B board kind of stuff. There's just way too much going on right now for little old me to try and do it all. So that's something the city manager is going to be presenting to council, I believe, or he may have already. I think it's going to take effect on the 1st of March. So anyway, so I apologize. Many things going on. There's a lot of things happening. You know, we got the 4 developments coming in. We have Allsups. We have Tractor Supply. And then I've been working on some potential out at the industrial park. And now people are just calling almost daily wanting to look at land in Keene or, you know, potentially bringing in some type of retail type business. So it's been pretty busy. You know, our new city secretary just started today. It was her first day in the job. Our HR is supposed to start, you remember? On the 26th, hopefully. And then looks like we got a code enforcement officer to hopefully be starting in a couple of weeks, and a part-time person to kind of help with building maintenance and park maintenance. So we've been so short-handed for so long. Things are finally starting to come together. So that's all I have to say.
All righty. Okay.
next item up on consideration is for anyone from the public that might like to make some comments before we begin our agenda items. Okay, that's fine. All right. Under agenda item 5, first item up for business is to consider approval of the P&Z Zoning Commission minutes dated January 8th, 2024. If everybody's had a chance to look those over, those that were present, I guess Dan and Chris were absent, but and typically, I guess it's customary not to vote on the minutes if you weren't present. That'll be up to y'all. But if everybody's had a chance to review them, I'll entertain a motion to, consider approval of the minutes. Eduardo, would you like to make a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting on January 8th,
Yes, I would.
since you were present?
I make a motion to the approval of January 2024.
All right. Have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. All right. All those in favor, not wishing to abstain, raise your hand. Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Motion passes. All right. Next item up for discussion is consider approval of a preliminary plat submitted by Atwell LLC on behalf of BW Gas and Convenience and Retail, being a 5.784 tract of land, acre tract of land of the BBB and CRRCO Survey Abstract 114, and a portion of the J. Pennington Survey Abstract 701, and a portion of a called 6.661 acre tract conveyed to James and Linda Wright Family Limited Partnership. Also a portion of a called 0.866 acre tract as conveyed to James and Linda Wright Family Limited Partnership. Also being all of a 1.1 acre tract of land conveyed to Iris M. Quinn. Okay. Would you like to give us some
All right. Anybody have
background
any
on
questions? I know that was a mouthful there. So as you know, we've been working with all subs, and we finally got all the rezoning done on 521 South College. It was kind of like that final piece of that puzzle, and that was passed. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that area over there, but the map this was the preliminary plat that they submitted a couple of weeks back. So it went to our plan reviewers, myself, went to the fire department. The fire department's in your packet. Their recommendations are in there. Our plan reviewers' recommendations are also in there. And then on this next page, this is kind of what they came with, and then all of my comments as well. So this is kind of the final preliminary plat. So what they're looking at is there was 3 lots. It was 521, 517, and 513 South College. And then 106, which was a small corner piece with the remainder of all that land to the east and north. So what they're going to do is combine all those together and make it into 2 lots, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the bottom portion is going to be parcel 1, or it's going to be, if you look at your larger printout that you have there, it's going to be lot 1, block 1 of the all subs edition. And then the northern part will be lot 2, block 1 of the all subs edition. So if we go back to This one that they kind of shows it a little bit better before we added all the things that are required according to what's required on a preliminary plat. And what's required on the preliminary plat is showing any existing buildings, streets, roadways, things of that nature. Well, it's not really a subdivision, so there are no streets. But they did have to show the existing buildings that are there. So you can see on the other page where they added in the homes and the storage buildings and some of the concrete work that's in the back there where the storage sheds used to be sold and Wright Realty was on the corner. And then any easements, and then I had them add the easements along the front road frontage, and I had them add easements in between the properties. Being commercial, most of those are 10, with the exception of the ones that butt up against residential. Then we asked for a 7.5-foot easement on this land, and then you get 7.5 from the other owners, which gives us a 15-foot utility easement if we ever put water, sewer, phone, anything. And that's not just the city of Keene. Those are for any utility easements. So we had them add all that, and then there was some language. If you look in your packet, the review from AOCA, mainly we're just being concerned about the first 8, I believe, or Rixley 2 through 8, that deal with minor plats. Talked about the title block, and they've corrected that. The name, address, and phone number. The map must be drawn to scale, so they revised the size or scale of the map. Indicate the zoning. Show lines, designation boundaries, and municipalities. Well, it's only our municipality. So as you see on the newer map, it does show that on the vicinity map, it shows the ETJ, I believe, and it's kind of hard to see up there. But that was one of the other questions that our plan reviewer has, is that vicinity map isn't one of ours. Well, we just switched to a different GIS map for our system, and today it was giving me fits, and our old system is no longer working. So, but that's just a minor technicality. This is not something that gets filed with the county clerk. This is mainly just in-house on a preliminary plat, which only needs approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission. So after reviewing it all and our planners looking at it, and you also see the one in there from the fire department, basically they didn't have any exceptions at this point other than to, ensure that we get the right spacing on hydrants and water lines and all that good stuff once we get into the construction or civil plans of it. I believe that was in your packet, right? Okay, yes. And then in your packet, you also have letters of authorizations from all the current owners saying that they agree to have these people represent them to replat these 6, technically, I guess, lots into 2. Or 5, I'm sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5. They're still waiting kind of on the approval of TxDOT on where their driveways can be, what the spacing has to be. Do they need deceleration lanes? So we're kind of, can't really put those on there yet. That really doesn't have anything to do with the plat. That's more on the civil side once they start working on their water, sewer, drainage studies and all that other good stuff, which the very first one kind of has their conceptual preliminary site layout plan. But again, they're still waiting on approval. It shows the detention pond, where the stores are going to be, where the fuel pumps are going to be, where the trash bins are going to be, where parking spaces are going to be.
Okay.
Our medications are not working together well. It looks like an awfully large lot just for a convenience store.
Is it a truck stop too, or just a convenience store?
Convenience store, refueling station, so there will be semi-trucks, they will have, what do they call that diesel? High-flow diesel will be
When-
available.
Yeah, when you come back, Dan, we'll talk about it more. Yeah, it's my understanding that Block 1, Lot 2 is basically a land swap with the Quinn Trouster family,
Correct,
so that they could get that 521
right.
South College property. So basically, the operator traded one house lot for two, so they needed 521 and they had 513 and 517 South College, but they didn't necessarily need those, but because of the property they were buying, it was a package deal, more or less. And so they arranged about a 4-acre or so, I guess 3.860 acre swap for the 1.1 something, or 1.07 or something acres that they actually needed. So that's why it's broken up into Block 1 and Lot 2, I would presume.
Yeah, so Lot 1 is where the convenience store and refueling station is going to be. And I guess you could just say technically for now, Lot 2 is future.
Did this stay C2, or they just changed the land use matrix to include travel
Those
center?
two lots that are a portion of Lot 2 are still zoned single family in the front, the ones that are facing South College. In the back portion
Okay, and
is zoned C2. So if they ever do anything commercial-wise, they'll have to come back and ask for a rezone of that.
with this, all this Block 1, Lot 1, that's all
Yes,
C2 now?
yes. It all was, with the exception of 521, which was just finally approved,
Yeah.
technically because of the missing the advertisement in the paper.
Oh, okay.
So that's all taken care of now. It was approved last Thursday.
I think that just probably occurred because of the delay, didn't it? I mean,
It was,
it had been published in the paper back probably in November, but,
yeah. Well, part of it was when we had to reschedule the meeting, the Cleburne Times Review had just switched over their billing software to another company. And then when we had lost our city secretary, there was some billing issues that we were trying to straighten out. Well, the computer just automatically kicked it out of the paper because it showed us being behind on our bills. It was on the online version. It was there. I looked at it. There it is. Cool. But it got automatically kicked out of the paper. So.
and Dan, you were talking about large lot. I was saying, when you stepped out, this Block 1, Lot 2 on the north end was basically a land swap that the operator is doing in order to get the 521 South College property, which is over there on the west side, where that one house and storage building are listed there. So the 513 and 517 South College, and then the property east and then north of that is about not quite 4 acres that they gave the property owner of the 1 acre property on 521 South College in exchange. You know, so.
I don't remember there being one back over here.
No, there isn't. It's all vacant, or vacant land, and probably, I'm not sure how far back the trees are, but a lot of growth, brush back there.
Yeah, there was. It's pretty much all cleaned up now.
Okay, I didn't know how deep it was.
There's just a row of trees kind of at the back of those homes
Okay.
that kind of run up those property lines. The rest has all been pretty much cleared out. But we've gone over it, looked at it, and it looks like we addressed all the issues that our planner had, that I had. The only thing is down in the bottom left-hand corner, it lists Carl Conrad as the chairman. We can get that fixed. So staff would recommend approval with that change. And if we ever get our GIS map to get a better vicinity working, we'll make that correction as well.
Okay. All right. At this time, if anybody would like to entertain a motion to approve or otherwise this preliminary plat submitted by Atwell LLC as read previously. Okay. All right. If we could accept the motion from Dan Alsop without incurring all that extra reading, or does it all need to be part of the motion? Can we just?
I can read it if you would like.
Well, I'll go ahead and read it.
Okay.
So we've got a motion from Dan Alsop to approve a preliminary plat submitted by Atwell LLC on behalf of BW Gas and Convenience and Retail, being a 5.784 tract of land of the BBB and C RRCO Survey Abstract 114, and a portion of the J. Pennington Survey Abstract 701, and a portion of a called 6.661 acre tract conveyed to James and Linda Wright Family Limited Partnership. Also a portion of a called 0.866 acre tract as conveyed to James and Linda Wright Family Limited Partnership. Also being all of a 1.1 acre tract of land conveyed to Iris M. Quinn. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Motion made by Dan Alsop, seconded by Chris Rhodes. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Okay. There's no opposed. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We have oh, okay. All right, we have two members on our commission whose terms will be expiring in March. That's place 1 and that's place 2. Place 2 and place 4. I'm not sure, I think we made you place 4. And Gilbert Perez, place 2 there, Dan, last year. And we have one application, or?
So far, yes, we've only had one application turned in. Mr. Alsop has not made up his mind yet on whether he's going to run yet or not.
Okay.
Just came up a few hours ago.
Well, you have another month, I guess, to wait on that.
So in your packet, you should have an application from Mr. Troy Smith, and he's here. Yes, he's still here, if you have any questions for the young man.
Yeah, hi, Troy. You don't have P&Z necessarily listed on this. I guess there wasn't an opening maybe when it was first.
He submitted another one, but we had our interim city secretary here trying to go through the emails, and she was having a hard time finding it, so I called him to just confirm today that, yes, he wanted to be on P&Z.
Okay. So basically, we will make the recommendation to City Council, and they'll make the decision on who to appoint. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Mr. Smith? Okay. I know he's active in the community. He's got his own business based here in Keene. Helps with some of the festival events and patriotic efforts. Ran for city council. Member of the B board, but you say you'll be resigning from that, and I don't think there's a conflict if you're on more than one, but
It depends on the board. Like, you could be on B board and be a council member, you can be on A board and be a council member, but you can't be on P and Z and be a council member, just because they kind of make decisions on stuff.
yeah. But he could be on a B board and be on P and Z as well.
I
if he-
believe so.
If you wanted to, okay. Okay. Does this require a vote?
I'd make a recommendation, yeah, just like you would anything else.
That we send to
You're
the
going
city
to
council?
recommend that he be appointed to council.
Okay. All right, if anybody would like to recommend that we pass on to city council the name of Troy Smith as, I don't know if he would be an alternate or commission member, because with Eduardo Perez Senior
I
being,
prefer to remain an alternate.
okay, that's fine.
There's no accountability for an alternate.
All right, so, do we know which place, is it place 2
I
that Gilbert Perez
Would
has?
have to look.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
I know we made them the even numbered ones and the even numbered years, makes it easy to remember.
Yeah.
Since Chris and Miguel and basically myself were just appointed last March or whatever month that was. And then for us to have 2 full years would make ours expire next year. So, so if someone wants to make a recommendation to put Troy Smith's name before the city council as a replacement for Gilbert Perez
No.
on the P and Z commission, they can do so at this time. Somebody wants?
I'll make the motion
Okay, go ahead, state it to
to recommend Troy Smith to the P&Z
city
board.
council.
City council to join the P&Z board.
Okay. All right, is there a second?
You got that?
Okay. Motion to pass Troy Smith's name on to the city council as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, made by Chris Rhodes, seconded by Dan Alsop. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Okay. There's no opposed. Motion passes. Do you know when they plan on considering this?
Probably if we don't get any more applications, I would say I'm going to try and get it on March 7th, I believe,
Okay.
and if we get another application later on, we can always bring that one back.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Troy, I guess you'll keep your eye on the agenda and decide when they bring this up. All right, and that term will run, I guess, till 2026, March of
Correct.
2026. All right, I see no reason for an executive session.
No, sir.
Okay. Any requests for future agenda items and things that we need to discuss?
There's a lot coming up. I'm sure you've heard about, they've been asking for members of the, hopefully I get the terminology right, the Charter Review Commission. Basically, it will be comprised of the 5 P&Z members, if we have 5, and 3 members from outside the P&Z board. Basically, one of them, I think it states that 40% has to be from the construction, real estate, development side of it, and one of them has to live in the ETJ. So we've asked Blake Fanning who lives in our ETJ, who's the developer, is the one that was dealing with Bristol Oaks and the canyons.
J&L.
And then we have Cody Thornton, who's on the B board, A board. A board. He's on the A board, who owns an electric, so he represents that. And then Samantha Gillen had applied from the real estate side of things, who's also on the A board. So between you five-ish and those three, what we're looking at is the impact fees coming up. The city of Keene is probably one of the few cities around here that doesn't charge impact fees for development. Basically, it's a fee that anytime a developer comes in and say, okay, we're going to charge you $1,000 for our sewer or our water or our streets or our drainage, and that money can only be used to increase the capacity or upgrade the current system for the future. So as you're bringing in development, you're basically charging them a fee because they're going to cause an impact to your current system on top of the tap fees. So our engineers, the first step was to have our engineers do an impact fee study with other cities of that nature, and they take into account a lot of stuff. So that's been completed. The other step is, excuse me, you have to have at least a minimum of 5-year capital improvement plan. Well, we have a 20-year capital improvement plan, so that's the other step. So now you have to form a committee and go, okay, let's take all this information, probably meet a couple of times, and talk to the city staff and say, if more development comes in, how is that going to impact our wastewater treatment plant, our storm drains, our streets, our water and sewer? So we'll take that and kind of come to a conclusion and say, okay, these are the impact fees that we feel would be fair to the developers as they come in, where it's still not going to hurt the city 5-10 years down the road. So
Okay.
that will be coming up pretty soon. Maybe 1 or 2 meetings. We're not sure yet.
All right. So I guess be aware of that, and, since it includes the entire commission. All right. Any other items to consider?
Oh, there's probably 1,000 more, but
No,
do you have any questions for me?
Anybody have questions for Don pertaining to that or anything else that we've discussed?
Things are starting to look up.
Okay.
I have 1 year, 8 months, and 18 days left before I retire.
8 months?
You
1 year,
can't go.
1 year, 8 months,
1 year, 8
18
months.
days,
Okay. All right.
and 6 hours. I don't have my phone with me. It's on my phone. I look at it several times a day.
When is also starting on their project?
I mean, they kind of have. They're working on their civils right now. They're kind of TxDOT is the holdup on where their driveway cannot be. Do they have to put a deceleration lane in? They're saying the same thing with Tractor Supply. They're kind of waiting on TxDOT.
Where exactly is going to be the Tractor Supply located?
It'll be just west of the Spanish Church on Business 67.
Okay.
Like a rusted out white pipe fence, I think, that runs across the front of the property there on Business 67. Used to be like where Kirkham's, if anybody knew C.D. Kirkham, longtime electrician in this area. I believe that's the property he owned
I'm not sure
at one time.
the name of it, but
Yeah.
there is a house that kind of sits way back there, and it's going to be kind of in that
Yeah.
southeast corner, I guess you would say.
I remember him back in the, 80s, drove a truck with wire hanging off all 4 sides of his truck, Oh, man, I actually bought property from his son, I guess C.D. Kirkham Jr., an attorney out of Dallas, so. I didn't actually buy from him, but I bought from people that bought from him some of the property that I have right now. All right. Well, if there's no further business, we can call this meeting adjourned. It's 8:35 PM.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Philip, can I have a word with you?